Rolling. It's recording. It's being recorded. Good evening and welcome to the SpeakerMC Show. Today's show is entitled Spillage. This is where work and home collide. Yes. We're talking about, this is the premise of the show. How many of us are out there as ladies, as women, who have all these tasks to do at home and at work and just can't seem to find the balance in between? Yes, it really takes its toll on us, as you will see. Well, what's the SpeakerMC Show? The SpeakerMC Show is 60 minutes, candid conversations with me and two guests. We're talking about how we relate to each other, how we relate to our environment, and how we relate to ourselves, because the SpeakerMC Show is all about relationships. Our intentions for the show are three parts. I'm all about the trifecta win. One, to you, the audience, we want to empower and enlighten you with information about creating harmonious environments and boosting your self-confidence. To our guests, we want to provide a platform and the opportunity to share their message and who they are in this world, another tribe to influence. And to everyone, well, we're just going to have fun. It's all about the fun, 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 fun. So we're going to talk about spillage. And what we're going to discuss is what exactly is spillage? And how do we suffer when we non-compartmentalize and don't even realize that we're doing that? And how can we do better? And why should we do better? So just to give you an idea, we're going to gear this conversation to the women. Sorry, guys, you know, everything can't be about you, right? So this conversation is going to be geared mostly to women because women are making up almost 50% of the workforce globally. As you can see with the chart, in the US, we make up about 46.8%, Canada 47.3%, and in France 48%. That's huge. And in all 114 countries, and most of them, as you can see here, well, not most of them, but quite a few African nations are listed here. 52.8, 52.2, 50%. I mean, it's crazy. All credit to Abdi Latif at the reporter. He's a reporter in Quartz, the Quartz magazine. So that's where this statistic came from. So all in all, the median is about 45%. We women, yes. Women's suffrage, woohoo! Yes. We're no longer at home taking care of the babies. We're out there in the workforce, right? But how do we get that balance? So that's what we're going to discuss tonight. And I want to introduce you to our guests. There are two. First, our international, global ally, Miss Rachella Martina. She is a Dutch mindset coach and manifestor queen from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Her area of expertise is mindset coaching and manifesting your wildest dreams in life. Ooh, made a typo there. In life, though. And this is where you can reach her on RachellaMartina.com. And we'll talk about her free offering later on in the program. She sold her first online business, excuse me, in 2015. And now she's helping female entrepreneurs all over the world become a fearless, high vibe entrepreneur. And she's going to share why some personality types have more difficulty maintaining a healthy balance between having a business and running a household. Please put your hands together and say, hi, Rachella! Hi, Rachella! How are you?
Hi, Rachella. Hi.
And And thank you for being here all the way from across the globe.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. So we have two guests, as I said, and our next guest, she's not in our local area either. No, she's not in Amsterdam, but she's all the way across the US. Her name is LaWanna Parker. LaWanna is an emerging speaker and personal development coach from Sacramento, California. Woo, woo! Her area of expertise is working with women to define their dream and prepare a plan to go after it. And this is where you can connect with her. And we'll go into her free offering later on in the show. So you got to stay tuned towards the end so you can get the freebies. All right? Okay. LaWanna is also a blogger. She's an author. She's a coach and a motivational speaker. She teaches women to have the courage to live their dreams and provide the opportunity to speak on stage. Yes, powerful. Put your hands together and welcome LaWanna. Hi, LaWanna.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, yes. LaWanna is a friend to the show. She's been here before. But you might be wondering, who's this crazy loud woman? It's me. My name is Marcia. I'm your host, SpeakerMC, aka SpeakerMC. My area of expertise, I'm a speaker and a sexual wellness consultant, and I work with women who are lonely in their relationships, and I help them to go from sexless to steamy. That's right. I talk to grown folks. That's right. As I said, I'm a speaker and sexual wellness consultant, and my message shares information to women about having better sex and intimacy so that they give themselves permission to be sensual, sexual, and begin to lead empowered lifestyles. My mission is to reduce the world's divorce rate by 50%. That's right. That's why I created S.W.E.L.L for women, because I noticed that there were people just exchanging DNA without asking the right questions beforehand. And then they're subjecting the rest of us to all their dysfunctions. I host 2 online shows. Woo, woo. Wait a minute. Clickaroo. I host 2 online shows, and I share my message about female sexuality. The shows are S.W.E.L.L Happy Hour, S.W.E.L.L Playroom, and the Bush is Swelling Show. These are online TV shows and a radio show. And all 3 concentrate on shifting how we think about sex and sexuality. This show, the SpeakerMC Show, is all about relationships. And we explore how we relate, as I said, to ourselves, to our environment, and to each other. So, welcome, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I am so honored and so touched that you guys are here with us today. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get this party started right. Yes, let me expand this so it's all about us. And the reason why I decided to focus our topic on women is because all 3 of us, our audience is women. So we can best speak to how women either do or do not compartmentalize and have that work balance effect. Ready? You ready to talk about it? I'm so excited. Yes. So let's define what is this spillage. I've coined it spillage because it's when both the work life and the home life tend to fuse together and they spill over each other, and no one seems to get a handle because there's no prioritization, there's no compartmentalization. You know, you're at work and somebody's saying, take out the garbage, you know, or you're you came home from a hard day's work, but you're still carrying work home with you. So when does it end? You have to cook the meals, you have to take care of the babies. As women, our work is from sun up till sundown and then some, you know. So ladies, talk to me. How can these women, I mean, how does it show up on a regular? Which women are affected by this? It's not just CEOs, it's not just women doing 9 to 5s, it's every woman. Can you guys speak to that?
Yes, of course. It's like if I'm looking around me, it begin with old beliefs, things that we've learned from our parents, things that we've learned from people around us, things that we think is normal or the way that we need to act for those around us. And when you're working at a job, and you just said it, there are so many balls that we need to keep high, so many things that we need to do. But once you get rid of all those old beliefs, when you get rid of pleasing other people instead of pleasing you, so listen to your heart, what you really want, you will notice that sometimes it's still difficult to make decisions, but when you're following your heart, there's no wrong or right. There's just damn good. Because that's the thing that is the most important. You can work at a job and become a CEO because you think that's the best thing that you can do. You can have 2 children. You can have a dog that you need to walk out every day. You can go to all those parties that you need to attend to. You can fulfill or do all those things that you think you need to, just to please other people, just to please society. But at the end, if you don't please yourself, it will come back to you.
And we're going to talk about how that's going to come back to you later on down the line. LaWanna, anything you want to add to that about these women who are just juggling everything? Superwoman with an S on the chest.
Well, you almost have to be a superwoman. It is difficult. And one of the things that helps is if your partner is willing to take on some of the responsibility. Now, I remember when my children were young, and I had 4 boys and all active in sports. And it was not an easy thing to do, to get them to where they had to go, to also participate in things that I enjoyed participating in, and to work. And then still come home. And remember that commercial about the woman, I Am Woman? Well, I don't remember exactly the title, but she was talking about how coming home to cook the bacon and all the other things she did. Well, that was me. And it was not easy. I was lucky because I had a husband who didn't complain. He might have within himself, but he didn't complain out loud to me, because I did have to do all those different things. And what I did was there was another woman on one of my kids' teams who had the same problem. So we sort of would trade up. She'd take 2 of the kids with her when she went with her kids, and I take the others with me. And so we were able to trade off so that we could get all the kids to where they had to be at all times, and still have still feel like we had a little bit of our sanity left.
It's so funny you mentioned about sharing some of the workload. That's easy enough for 2 things. That's easy enough if you A, have a partner to share that workload with, and B, if you are willing to share or know how to ask for help. Some people still don't know how to ask for help. But let's just talk about those women, because there are a lot of women who are single parent households and they don't have a partner to help them share that load. How do they do that? How do they now, reclaim their sanity?
I would say, speaking for myself, if I was in that situation, I would try to get with another single parent. Nowadays, that's pretty easy to do. You have a lot of single parents. But I would get with someone else who maybe have the same situation that I have, and let's talk about how we can help one another in trading off or whatever the need is, because it is difficult to do it all by yourself. There were times, even when I knew that I had my husband there were times when I felt like I was going crazy, because it seemed like there was so much. You got to be there for the kids. You want them to know that you care about them and that you want to be part of what they're doing. But at the same time, you have to do things that you enjoy. Otherwise, you really will go crazy. And I was one of those people who was active in a number of things. So it was difficult, but you know what? I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. When I think back, I wonder how did I do it, but somehow it got done, and I am so appreciative of it.
Rachella, you were going to say something?
Yeah, because to get back on your question, like how you're going to do it, and I cannot talk because I'm not a single mom, but I know single moms, and it, even though if you're single or not single, I think it's very important that if you're going to ask people for help, even though it's hard, ask those people that believe in you and believe in your goal, because sometimes people they need help. But for example, if you break up with your husband, you know that he wasn't fond of you working, you know that he didn't like the fact that you were like working on your business, you can ask your husband to take care of your child if you need to, of course. But for your own also energy, something that is very important when you're running a business, because sometimes you're just tired and you just want to have a positive energy so that you can keep going on. You can better ask a mom at school, like, can my child play with you? And I've got like other things that you can do. Sometimes gyms, they have like membership site that you can get 2-hour daycare. And maybe you're thinking like, what's 2 hours? I've got 25 things on my to-do list and I need like 48 hours in one day. But if you start with 2, that's like better than nothing.
That's true.
Or you can go to places like, I don't know how it is in the States, but here in the Netherlands, you've got like the IKEA, or that you can bring your child, that your child can play there. And then you can sit in the coffee corner till they're going to call your child that he doesn't want to play anymore. And you're going to pick up your child. Maybe you need to be a little bit creative, but something I noticed that when you're like being creative to find solutions, and especially what I was just saying in the beginning, asking for people that believe in you, people that believe in your dreams, they will help you also to come up with a solution, or they will even tell you like, oh, sorry, today I cannot, but maybe you can ask my mother, or maybe you can ask someone else, and doors will open. So just try and start asking and take it just one step by the time.
Well, you ladies brought up some really valid points. I was a single parent when I was raising my daughter because I got divorced and it was left onto me. But you said something about networking with other parents, other mothers who everyone's doing the same kind of tasks, you know, like maybe the soccer group or something like that. That's very good. That's very, very good. But, you know, and this might be another show topic. It also begs the question, are women now going to be forced to network with each other? And are women now going to be forced to trust each other? Because I know I was raised to not trust other women. So, and then you're trusting them with your most precious prized possession, if you want to call it a possession. Nobody owns anybody, but you know what I'm saying, for lack of a better terminology. But you're trusting them with your loved one, you know, your seed. So that opens up a whole other Pandora's box. And then, Rachella, you said something about leave your child with people who support your dreams. How many conversations I've had with women who have been in a dynamic where the other partner was just trying to sabotage every step of the way. They're trying to pursue other endeavors, and that person is just trying to put a monkey wrench in all their plans. So, you know, that's crucial also. I think those developmental stages can't be won over immediately, and I don't think that you guys were saying that, but that's a possible solution. So I like that. the other thing I wanted to ask, so now women, is it just married women who have families that are, well, no, we said it's not just married women, it's women, period, if they have a career or if they have a business, right? So it could be a female entrepreneur, it could be someone working in an office. Now when they start taking home the work and not compartmentalizing, LaWanna had started to say that it kind of affects their mental health. I agree. What else do you see that coming on, Rachella?
You mean when women are taking like work from home?
Yeah, they're not compartmentalizing. So now they're in a stressful job, they're in a very demanding position, whether they're a high ranking executive or low on the totem pole, whatever it is, but then they can't finish what they have to do with those 8 hours or 9 hours that they're allotted. They now have to take it home because, oh, they have to, and their boss, and they're this and they're that. What happens then? Because the baby is still crying and the dinner still needs to be cooked, you know.
I totally understand that, because I had that when I was still working for a corporate company. And I think there are like two different type of people, and this is now women but also men, but as we're talking about women, when you're working for a boss, when you're doing like so much work that you need to bring home, that you constantly have the pressure that you need to finish things, that you need to do things, that it's never enough, you need to think by yourself like, okay, do I love this job? Because sometimes when you really love a job, when you really love the things, that's the only thing that you're thinking about. You wake up and you're like, oh gosh, I can start working again. And you go to bed and you're like, oh, are we going to bed? I still wanted to do this and that because I'm having so much fun with the thing that I'm doing. I need to say, I don't know a lot of people in a corporate job that thinking like that. I do know a lot of business owners that thinking like that. But
oh dear.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to stop that.
Yeah, I don't know, like, to get back, I don't know, like, if you need to separate those two. The people that are constantly thinking about, I need to do this for my work, I need to finish this, those are mostly people, and also talking about myself, that you pass some boundaries of yourself. And a few of those boundaries are, you want to satisfy someone, because sometimes it's like, oh, is the work that I'm doing, isn't that good enough? Because if you have enough confidence, you can say like, okay, it's okay today. I've worked 10 hours. I'm not taking work home. I've got a family at home. It's okay. Even though if your boss is nagging yourself, or you're nagging you, or your boss is calling you 10 times, you're like, no, it's okay. Tomorrow is another day. And that's very difficult, because you will think like, okay, but what if they're going to fire me? But what if I'm not good enough? But what if I'm not getting that promotion, but someone else is getting that promotion, because that person is working 15 hours per day and I'm only working for 14 hours. And when you're thinking about all those things, somewhere there needs to be like a big red flag signing, because when you're working somewhere and you need to think about, am I good enough? Do they appreciate me? Are they going to fire me because I'm not listening to them? Then you need to think, but wait a minute, is this the environment that I want to work in? Is this how I want people to treat me? Is this what I want to learn my child, that it's okay that other people have the power of how I'm going to live my life in my free time? And when you're in the middle of it, mostly you don't think like that. It's when you're out of the environment. And sometimes if you don't do anything, the universe will kick your butt and they will fire you and you will hit rock bottom. And then you will think like, but why did I do this so long? But why did I work with this colleague and this colleague treat me like garbage? But why? But if you're not listening, the universe will keep giving you signs. Maybe a headache, maybe some pain in your back, maybe you've got like...
It's called stress.
Indeed. So the universe is already like a stopping light. It's already orange. It's almost getting red, like stop. You need to stop now. You cannot walk further. But you keep continue because what if I get that promotion? How awesome will that be if I can get a new car? Or if I can buy a new house or whatsoever.
So I hear you speaking about their self-esteem and their not being able to say no. LaWanna, what do you want to bring to the table with regard to that dynamic? They can't say no. They're bringing all this work home and it's causing all this stress. How else is it also affecting the home life? They have kids. They have a husband.
Well, first thing is that the husband will start complaining. You don't have enough time for me and the kids. Kids pick up on things like that. It can be rough, and especially if both jobs are needed, and you're feeling the stress of, if I lose this job, it's going to make things really rough for the family. And I've got to do this. I've got to take care of that. And as Rachella was saying, the husband is not quite understanding. There's no easy method to that. All I can say is I haven't experienced that, but if I were to go through something like that, I would probably try talking to my husband and have him sit down and say, look, we need both our jobs. And right now I have a lot of pressure at work and you're not helping it by piling on me when I come home. There has to be some middle ground here. You need to understand what's going on. And I'm not saying this is going to work because unfortunately not a lot of men listen. They only think me, my needs, my desires come before everything else. You have to figure out how you're going to hang on to that job, but what goes on here has to come first. So I don't have an easy answer for this particular situation because not having experienced it myself, it's easy for me to say what you should and shouldn't do. But based on some of the information I receive from people, sometimes it can be the thing that ends up separating families, and I'm sorry that happens.
Well, I remember
it still comes down to communication.
It does. It really does. It really does. I remember when I had just gotten fired from my corporate job and I was starting up my business. That work-life balance was trying for me as well because, you know, I had a lover at home and my daughter was just about to go to, no, she was in high school. She was in high school. So I still had to take care of her and I had to take care of him and I had to take care of me. So I tried the just say no, you know, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave this where it is. And when I come back tomorrow, I'll finish it. Can I tell you that I found myself, so you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. I would come home and try and be home by 7:30, right? For argument's sake, 7:30, I'd be home and do whatever the womanly duties were. Well, I was so stressed, I couldn't function. So the lovemaking was kind of down because, you know, the stress and the thinking, I'm in bed, but I'm still thinking, oh, I have to do this, oh, I have to do that. So my focus, I wasn't appreciating the time at home. And then I would get up earlier in the morning to be at the office earlier so that I could circumvent when people started coming in and, you know, having to deal with them so I could deal with the work that I left the night before. So it kind of played out where it didn't make sense whether I came home early or came home late. It didn't make sense if I said no and I'm going to leave it there because I still have to do it. So it's kind of boiled down to, I think, what we discussed before, delegation. maybe delegating some of the duties or the things that need to be done at home to, say, your husband, or excuse me, if your kids are grown enough, you know, to kind of help out with the duties, so it's not so burdensome on you. And then to also say, well, I'm not going to bring work home. Whatever's not done, I'll just do it the next day. Or maybe I'll work from home. I think a lot of corporations are now getting that fever where they're extending that kind of flex time or flexibility to some of their employees to say, well, okay, Thursday and Friday you work from home, or Monday and Wednesday you work from home, whatever it is, to kind of ease the burden, you know. So I think places like American Express, I found that they do that. They offer their employees a lot of flex time. So maybe that can counter some of the stress and the lack of focus. And because even when you're not focused and you're doing a really bad job, they're still going to fire you. Because if you're not concentrating on what you're doing and you're producing bad work, you know, then what's the sense of them keeping you? You know what I mean? So yeah, we discussed how it shows up and the stress that it has on your mental health, and the stress that it has on your family dynamic, and the stress that it might have in the bedroom, you know. So all those stresses are no good. And your health. Doesn't it show up like weight gain and, you know, my hand hurt, my back hurts? I think you mentioned that, Rachella, that everything starts to hurt because of all that stress and all that pain, right? So I touched on a few elements of how we could kind of solve that issue. Anything else you ladies would love to add to that dynamic besides saying no and, you know, talking to the hubby and having some of the tasks delegated? Anything you guys want to add?
I think you hit it on the head right there. Delegate some of the work to some of your employees, but more importantly, setting boundaries. If you can't finish it in that day's time, and just say it, this point, it'll have to be done tomorrow, because if it's not a life or death situation, it can wait. It will still be there if the good Lord calls you home tonight. Somebody else will just pick it up and run with the ball. So
true. So true.
Yep. So you just have to make that decision. By this time of the day, my day is ended. I'll take care of it tomorrow.
Rachella.
Yeah, I think it's also important that when you're like in the red hole or red race, actually, and you're taking
the red hole.
Yeah.
I like red hole better.
Sorry, this is my English. Sorry.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
I like it.
So do I.
The rat hole.
I'm going to use that more often now.
Yes.
But the thing that I like, what struck me a lot when I was working at the corporate job, and a lot of the things happened what you just told, was that I had a difficult time when I left the company, actually. And that wasn't because I didn't get the position that I was working hard for a few years. I started my own business, so I was very excited that I started that. But because, and LaWanna just said it, because I didn't set clear boundaries, and every time someone else went over those boundaries, and it was piece by piece, little by little, that after a few years when I didn't work there, I looked back and I was thinking like, did I accept that all those things? Did I do that? Did I? And that part I struggled so much with, and that was for me also the part where the soul searching starts to come, and I dig deeper to find out why I could have accepted to get so far, because at the end I was scared like everyone else. I was making good money. I left my job when I was 30. I didn't have a child. People were saying like, are you going to leave your well-paying job now and you still want to be pregnant? How are you going to do that when you're
Wow.
going to get a child? And are you sure? And also came back in the beginnings old beliefs, how other people are looking at it. Because what I was saying, the moment that you're going to follow your heart, there is no wrong or right. Yes, maybe you're going to get paid in the beginning a little bit less, but if you have an end goal, you can get to that amount of money again, and maybe more. But because you know what your boundaries are, you know that that is not going to happen anymore. You're not going to work for someone else so many hours
Yes.
and taking and do all those things, because you know what you're putting online. And yeah, that is a relationship, a healthy relationship with your partner, and that is a normal relationship with friends and loved ones, because you're not constantly working, but you can really enjoy things like going a weekend abroad, instead of thinking like, oh no, now I'm leaving early, but that means that I need to do double the work next
Right.
week.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Oh wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. So so the other thing, why do you think that we need to do this? Why do you think that it is essential? Besides the obvious, yeah, it's good for your health. Okay. But besides the obvious, why should women now take particular attention to create these boundaries, to be able to say no, to be able to say, you know, if it doesn't get done today, I'll do it tomorrow? Why? What is the end goal, to coin your phrase?
well, for me, I think the end goal is we have more option nowadays. It's not like we fought hard as a woman to work, because years ago it wasn't normal to work. If you were female
Outside of the home.
outside of the home, like
Mm-hmm.
following a study,
Mm-hmm.
that was already weird. You were like, the family were looking at you like, okay, but why do you need to go to the university? You're going to stay in the kitchen and you don't need a degree for that.
Right.
And now we came so far that it's normal to work. It's normal to work in combination with running a with a household, but there's more. And I think that that's the part that people are noticing now. Like, if you don't want to work 40 hours per week, 60 hours per week, it's okay to work 20 hours per week. You're not a lazy mom or not a career perspective person if you choose to work less. And if you choose to work more, it's not that you're choosing to neglecting your child. It's okay to do that. Both options are okay. If you're going to choose to run a business and running a household, that's also okay. You can do both. The only thing is that you need to set boundaries,
Right.
because you can do both, but sometimes you need to say no, because otherwise you cannot manage everything, and you need to delegate, outsource.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So so I see here the time management element keeps coming up, where you set the boundaries. You set the boundaries and you delegate, so you're now managing your time more efficiently. And the fact that women are now in the workforce, 50% of the workforce is women, right? So we're in the workforce, and now we have that new empowerment, and we make our own money, and we can do things our own, and we're independent. So that brings the self-esteem to a new high. Now, that being said, I would suppose that it's going to be a positive influence on our overall health and on our overall mental focus, because now that we are heightening our self-esteem, now that we're creating the boundaries and, efficiently managing our time, then that's less stress on us. And now that we're delegating, right, we're communicating, we're learning how to communicate and ask for what we want, and being able to delegate and say, here, can you help me with this? We're asking for help. So that brings a whole new dynamic to the face of the woman. No longer is she in the background and being quiet and not saying anything and, suffering through the entire thing. Meanwhile, she just can't wait to get away and do something for herself. And she might say, oh my gosh, I can't say that out loud because people think I'm a bad mom or I'm a bad wife or whatever it is, that guilt. So this whole shift in the paradigm of how the face of the woman now shows up, because now she's gaining those life skills, gaining the life skill of how to manage her time and how to delegate and how to compartmentalize. It lowers the stress and raises the mood. So now she can be a better parent. If for lack of a better word, yeah, she can be a better parent, a better wife, manage her household a little bit better. What else do you see happening, LaWanna, with all those attributes to the new woman?
What I see is a sense of well-being when you set the boundaries and you have your values that you're going to live by. And when I say values, I don't mean that, I think I'm this or that, and so therefore anyone who does opposite of that is all wrong. I don't mean that, but you have to have certain values that you live by. If I say at 5 o'clock I quit work, anything left over I do tomorrow, that does not make you a bad person. That's setting a boundary. That's a value that you have set for yourself. You feel you are worthy of it, and you move on. If you say no, that's okay to say no to something, because you can't do everything.
Right.
And if you want to be a part of a group, that's okay too. As long as those group is aligned with your values that you believe in, that you accept as part of your life. And the children, if you sit down and talk with them and explain things to them, they're usually pretty understanding, and they usually want the best for you. At least that's what I found with my own. As long as they knew what was going on, they always knew they came first. So even though I was involved in a number of other things, I wasn't heavily involved with what went on at work, because when I left work, I left work. I did not bring it home with me at all, okay? But I was involved in a number of things after work, and my children, they understood my interest in these various activities, and they were okay with it because I was always there for them. I made sure that got to their practices, and I made sure that I was there for their games, even when I was on the wrong side. I tell a story about one time I went to my son's basketball game. I come rushing in there. I was late. I come rushing in there, and I jumped up on the thing and sat down, and I'm thrilled because the game was just getting started. And then when my son was out there playing, he made this really great shot, and I jumped up to cheer him on, and everybody around me is sitting down, and I looked around, and I realized I didn't know any of these people. I'm outside, so I quickly sat back down. But yeah, you have, it's a sense of well-being when you know what you want to do, what you accept in your life, and the kids are more understanding because mom is there for us when we need her. We're going to support her. And as I said before, it comes back to communication. If you can communicate, everything is possible through communication.
I agree.
There are some exceptions. I better say that there
are
some exceptions. Yes. Once in a while, you run across a situation where someone is not. I don't care what you say. But for the most part, people are willing to listen and make adjustments.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Well, ladies, we have come almost to the end of the show, and our conversation was so spirited. I thank you so much. And true to form, I really want to give you guys an opportunity to tell our audience a little bit more about you and about your business and the free offering that you brought for them today. So I'm going to start. I'm going to mute everybody else. I don't know if I can do that. There's some background noise. Hold on.
I'm going to mute myself. Oh.
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to start with Rachella. Rachella, could you just tell us a little bit about you, your business, your dynamic Dutch mindset coaching? Woohoo!
Yes, of course. Well, yeah, my name is Rachella Martina from the Netherlands, as you just said, and I'm a Dutch mindset coach. I am from the Netherlands, but actually I'm helping people all over the world changing the mindset, because I noticed that running the businesses that I had, that the biggest thing most people struggle with is eventually their mindset. And also the thing that is standing between their dreams and reaching their goal is their mindset. So I just took all the things that have worked for me, and I've done a lot. I followed different courses. I've watched hours of videos, but mostly I've been also into the woo-woo things, how you're all saying, since I think now more than 7 years. So I'm certified Reiki master, and I'm bringing all those aspects actually in my work just to help people reach their dream. And I try to do that on a simplified way, because I noticed that that's how I like to receive information. That's how I want to go to point A to B. So that's a little bit about me.
And your free offering?
My free offering, people can go to my Instagram, and I have every Monday and Friday I have a talk about something, mostly mindset or manifesting. And on my Instagram there's also a link that's at Rachella Martina, and that link will send you to my website, and I've got there a personality quiz that you can make. So 5 questions, and if you have those 5 questions, I will send you a PDF about your personality with your strengths and your weaknesses, but most important also how people see you, because as a business owner, it's important to know how your clients are looking at you. The link, it's a long link, but it's my Dunglish again, www.rachellamartina.com, and then discover yourself better quiz. I think you've got the link somewhere.
Yes, we do have the link, and I'm gonna bring it up on the slide later.
Yeah, I think that's better. So on that link, people can just take a quest over the quiz, and then I will send you the PDF document.
Yes. All right. So let's see. I have to bring back LaWanna.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Could you just tell our audience a little bit about LaWanna Parka?
Well, LaWanna Parker likes working with women to help them discover the beauty within themselves. And through that, they learn how to dream, sparkle, and shine. Our personal development program really is dealing with finding out who you are and accepting who you are, because sometimes we're so busy being everybody else that we lose ourselves. So we work on that. We help you set a goal, then we deal with communications, as well as having a plan of action for what you want to do, and that usually means that it's going to be a goal that we feel is achievable, but it is a stretch above what you've been doing before. This way, you're feeling confident when you walk away because you've got it all laid out there for you, and you can go with it. Now, the great thing that we're doing this year is that the graduates of our program are going to be in a fashion show in December. So we're really excited about that. We've already done the speakers program where we had the people come out and be speakers, but now we're going to do the fashion show for those that really get heavy into it. So we've added a little bit of modeling into our personal development program.
Well, that's pretty good. What is your free offering?
My free offer is I have a tip sheet. It has 12 tips to help boost your self-confidence. Also, it includes steps on setting a goal that you can achieve. And you go to my website, which is LaWannaGParker.com, and fill in the form there. We will send you the tip sheet that you can use right away. They're easy steps to follow, and the main thing is taking action.
Right, I like that. Your light keeps going in and out.
I know, and I can't figure out why, because it's stable here. it's the weirdest thing. It's completely stable. There's no change or anything, but if on the camera, it keeps going in and out.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, so I'm glad that I'll be posting the slide in just a minute. I'll share the slide so that everyone can have your information. Let's see. Whoops. I went too far. Okay, let's do it again. Didn't work one time, do it again, right? So here is, yes, this is the slide I wanted to share. Yes, so everyone has an idea of how to get in contact with you guys. And there was also, wait. Oh, yes. So this is Rachella's. Here is what she was talking about. RachellaMartina.com. Discover Yourself Better quiz. That's the free report that you were talking about, your free offering, right, Rachella? Rachella.
Yes. Rachella.
Rachella. Yes. So that is her free offering. And this is LaWanna's free offering, 12 things to boost your confidence sheet. And you said that they'll find it on your website, LaWanna? Can't hear you.
Sorry about that. If they fill out the form, then I'll email it out to them. I have a little problem with my website and automatically doing it, so I have to send it myself.
Okay, no worries. And as far as me, your host, my free offering is a download of this free report about libido. So go to bit.ly/MC-engage. And as I said before, what I do is I help women who are lonely in their relationships to go from sexless to steamy. I help boost their self-confidence, have them asking for what they want, gaining that confidence and that esteem, and getting back and tapping into their SLUTTY. That's more sex, more love, more understanding, and more tenderness to you. That's what I help women to do. I give women a paradigm shift on how to think about sex, how to talk about sex, and introduce them to information that helps them to recognize that toys, adult toys, can not only be pleasurable, but also healthful. So that's what I do, and I've created S.W.E.L.L for women, called Sexual Wellness and Empowered Living Lifestyles for Women. I'm launching next month. Woo! Yes! I am
All right.
launching. Yes! Yes!
Congratulations.
But by the time you see this, we will already have been launched. But I'm super excited because this has been a work of love for about a year. And Rachella and I are in the same coaching program. So she can attest to that. It's like hard work, diligence, pounding it and pounding it and pounding it. So, yeah. Super excited that SWELL for women will start its momentum. And in April, we're going to have our first S.W.E.L.L away retreat. So that I'm super excited about as well. Yeah. More to come. So listen in. Yay!
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. So ladies, we are at the end of our program, and I am going to ask you unapologetically, what's your testimonial? Did you have a good time? Is there something that could have been better? You know, just give me your honest opinion. Did you have fun? Because the mission is for everyone to have fun.
I had a good time. I enjoyed myself very much, despite the fact that my camera seemed to go dark on me.
It's the psychedelic.
Well, I grew up in that era.
That's awesome. Well, we're honored that you came back, you know, to grace us with your presence. So we're very humbled and honored that you're here with us today, LaWanna. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for including me to be a part of this. And Rachella, it was great to meet you, and much success in your business.
Thank you so much, and I enjoyed it too, and I laughed. I heard so much great things. So thank you both for Marcia for having me, and LaWanna for getting to know you. 2 thumbs up.
All right. Much success to both you ladies, because I know as entrepreneurs, you know, you're delving into this and delving into that, and you're launching, and you're also launching, right, LaWanna? So
yes, I am.
Kudos to you ladies, and thank you for taking the time. You're both on opposite ends of the earth. I'm here in New York City. LaWanna's in California, and Rachella is in Amsterdam. So how cool is this? You know, this is the age of the future where we can all be in the same space by virtual reality. I just love it. Love it.
It's amazing.
It is
amazing. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Well, whoever thought of it, thank you.
Yeah.
So ladies, as I promised, we are at our mark and we met it. Yes. Yay! All right. So thank you again. And I'm going to stop this recording. Let me end the recording.